Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to the Average AF Podcast with your hosts, Adam McElroy and Stephen Hardy.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 10 of the Average AF Podcast. I'm here with Steve as always.
Hey guys.
But like I said, we're doing episode 10. That's ridiculous already.
Ridiculousness.
It doesn't seem like it's been 10 episodes, but I do want to start off by thanking everybody again for all the support, especially on social media. You know, all the comments, shares, likes, all that kind of stuff. We definitely appreciate it. And if you're not already, make sure to follow us everywhere at Average AF Podcast. Subscribe, all that kind of stuff.
And if you're not, I don't know what you're doing with your motherfucking life. Get that shit together.
Get your life together.
As a reminder to you guys too, we are also we'll be at a community day event held by Alpha and Omega Real Estate on the 18th, 11 to 1. We'll have a booth there. Come out. Chance to win some free stuff, free stickers, free food. You know, free. Come on out. Come to the booth, and you'll have an opportunity to record a segment that could be possibly put on the next podcast, whenever that is. So come out, show your support, get free stuff. Win-win. The address is on 105 South Main Street in Mansfield. Again, 105 South Main Street in Mansfield. Hope to see you there.
Yeah, and definitely we would love to see everybody there and meet you guys. Like he said, give away some free stuff and stickers, and you can be on the podcast. We're going to try to record shout-outs to friends and family and whoever you want to shout out, and we'll put you and that person on the next episode. But there's actually another way to do that now, too. If you go to the link in our bio in either Facebook or Instagram, just click the link. That's going to take you to our Anchor page. And there, just one more button click, you can record a voice message and leave us essentially a voicemail with questions, if you need advice, any feedback, you know, kind of stuff like that. And, you know, we'll also be able to play that on the podcast. So, multiple different ways to get on the podcast in the next couple weeks, and we appreciate everybody's support. We actually have our first submission already, and that's from the one and only Patty Light. He's been mentioned throughout 2 of our episodes now because he's a funny motherfucker, and he actually left us a message, so we'll play it for you right now.
What up, Brosophines? Patty Light. First off, shout out Boo Boo Kitty Fuck. Secondly, shout out me living life out here on the streets. It's hard out here for a pimp, but you know, surviving. Don't got questions for y'all, but keep up the good podcast, yo.
All right, so that was the first ever voice message. Thank you, Patty Light.
Yeah, you're going down in history, bro.
Yep, on episode 8 and 9, multiple times, just talking about dumb stuff that he said or done, just like all of us. So
he sounds so familiar. I don't know. If
You've
I've met
probably
him.
met him.
Yeah, okay,
You probably have.
He does.
Yeah.
That voice does sound familiar.
Yeah, but shout out Patty Light, and like I said, guys, you can actually get on the podcast the same way through that voice message, or come out to the community day on the 18th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and actually record into a microphone, shout-outs, whatever you want to do, and we'll play you on the next episode. So hopefully we see you guys there. But yeah, man, this is episode 10 already.
10.
Yep. We made a goal to make it to at least 8, and that seems extremely easy at this point.
Yep.
We're at 10, so we've clearly blown past that 8 mark.
Yeah. My first thoughts are I could see how, you know, you said the average is 7 or 8, right?
Right, 7, yep.
if it was just say me, I could see how that could be a stopping point. I mean,
right, like a solo one.
Yeah,
That's my thing. That's why
it's very hard to do.
I could not do a solo one. I wanted to do one for a long time, but I'm like, I cannot do it by myself. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't hold myself accountable to keep going and just
Right. Yeah, without a good team behind the scenes, it'll be hard to keep that up with ideas and everything. I think you burn out rather fast doing it all by yourself.
You'd have to talk by yourself. Like, I wanted an hour-long episode, give or take, 45 minutes. If you talk by yourself for 15 to 20 minutes, that's already hard, let alone way longer.
I was going to say it'd be hard to go past a half an hour without you fatiguing pretty hard.
Yep.
Things that I've learned, though, I've just become more comfortable over time. I don't listen to myself probably as much as I should.
It helps.
Yeah, I've heard that for sure, but I don't know. It's like I know what I said. So I mainly look for feedback from others, though, because really they're the ones listening. So I like to get feedback from them. What I think is one thing, obviously, and it's important, but really I look for you guys to give us feedback on how we're doing and things where we can improve, and we'll definitely consider, all angles. And when it comes to that. But I think overall I'm having a lot of fun still. You do, 95% of the promoting as far as on the social medias. That's something I got to work on. It's not easy for me. Like I said, this whole thing was for me to get out of my comfort zone a bit. So baby steps, But I do a lot of word of mouth. People that I know, people I think are, would listen. I actually had 2 people earlier tonight. I told them I was recording. So, if you hit me, then I probably won't hit you back right away. And they were like, oh, and they were like, oh, what's it called? And like, tonight's probably won't be up until Wednesday or so, but you can more than welcome to go listen to, everything else. The last 2 are pretty funny. So you can really just go right into those and at least laugh a few times. So,
yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of fun. For me, like, same thing, just getting more comfortable with it. But then, I do the social media and the editing of it and all that kind of stuff. And it's pretty cool because it's kind of given me a hobby to do for at least half the week. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then the other half is basically trying to figure out what we want to talk about and getting the next episode ready. So it's been fun. I've been trying to kind of treat it like a business to some extent.
Yeah. I think you're doing well with
into posting a lot, but not too much, and trying to make it fun and all that kind of stuff. So it's just been a learning curve in all aspects, but it's definitely been fun, and I'm glad we're doing it. And, hopefully we can keep doing it and keep getting fun guests. So if you guys know anybody, have them hit us up, or you hit us up. And
we are more than willing, whatever, to have people on. And like I said, it doesn't have to be the whole episode like we did with Tommy and Jerry. If it's just one topic you want to hop in for 10 minutes or so, and then we'll work around your schedule if we can. We can definitely, this is a mobile thing. We record in the same spot for the most part, but we can definitely move.
Yeah, it'd be fun to come to like your place and record,
Yeah, and get
whatever
different vibes, I think I really believe in, that type of stuff. So
we've actually talked about that before, just kind of briefly, like, because me and Steve have gone to Chicago before, and that was just a fun trip. And, in general, but like trying to maybe travel a little more, not necessarily even far, but travel here and there and try to get like a hotel room and just record in the hotel room. Or like talk to a hotel and see if we can, rent their conference room for 2 hours and just different places, maybe go record at a park, just different stuff that we want to try. So if you have a cool idea, if you have a cool spot that we can have some electricity and go record, we're probably down to do it, just let us know. And we're just trying to experience everything. So I think that would be cool.
Yeah, man.
But let's get into it, man. So this is episode 10, and you did something yesterday, right? It was yesterday.
I did.
That I think is pretty interesting. And, so tell us about it.
All right. So, yesterday I attended a CCW class. I guess it's pretty much the first step that you need to take in order to get a carry and conceal license. It's pretty much a class where you go 6 hours. I think the requirement in Ohio is 6 hours of instruction time, and then 2 hours on the actual range firing weapons. So some boring parts and the 6 hours of sitting there, but I did learn a lot. The first thing, which I need everybody to tell me if I'm just a fucking idiot and I need to get out of the bubble that I live in, but I assumed that everybody I seen walking around with their gun in a holster had a CCW license.
They're supposed to.
No, Ohio was open carry.
It is now, but that just became a law.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, because I think, I think you might be right.
Okay, yeah, because they tell no, you don't have to, as long as it's not concealed, and you pass the background check at where you bought the gun from or whatever. But you can buy it from a private owner, so that doesn't matter.
Right.
I don't know, man.
That's the thing that's fucked up about it. But
yeah, you don't have to go through if I go through
especially in Ohio, because there's different laws everywhere, but I've owned guns and I've sold people guns, and it's just, it feels so sketchy.
Right.
But I had a really nice Beretta, and I sold it probably 2 years ago now, and it was just weird because I was like,
here you go.
It was somebody I knew. We went to high school together, so it wasn't and I trusted him, and I wasn't gonna put anybody in jeopardy or whatever. But it was weird to hand him a pistol, a real .45 caliber pistol,
wow,
and him hand me $450, and it'd be perfectly legal.
Right.
It felt
something
so
about
sketchy,
Mm-hmm.
and I've grown up around guns my whole life, so. Yeah, definitely weird.
So, listeners, let me know if I'm just a fucking idiot and didn't realize or we both were.
Yeah,
because
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure everybody, my place of employment is abandoned now. You can't walk around. They don't.
Most places do.
Okay, yeah. And I guess another thing is that people have told me, I don't know, but people have told me that since Ohio is an open carry state, that companies they can't make you not have it. There's certain specific buildings that's they have on the list, but say a Target or Walmart or Best Buy, they can ask you to leave, but they can't tell you, hey, you can't be on here with this. They can't make you take the gun off of your person.
Yeah,
they can either ask you to leave or leave.
See, I don't know, because then it comes down to private property and kind of stuff like that. We'll just say McDonald's, for instance, they own that lot of land, and they're allowed to dictate who's on it or who's off of it. That's why there's such thing as trespassing. So I don't know, but at the same time, you don't want to kind of confront somebody with a gun, because you don't know.
Right.
I know a ton of gun owners are all great people. I'm not saying anything like that, but you just never know the wild card that a loaded pistol on your hip kind of provides. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be hard to kind of confront people, and hopefully everything remains safe. So I don't know. I don't know what the law is, but
it's so much ambiguity.
Ambiguity.
That's a weird fucking word.
Yeah, it is.
But
I like it.
In the law as far as that. But just let me know if I'm a fucking idiot, or if it's something that's relatively new, because I thought that everybody I seen, he must be, that's concealing it to me, because it's obvious there's something there, but there's a holster and everything in most cases, and technically it's partial concealment. You can argue that it's concealment almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. The law is not very clear on that, I don't feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about gun laws, just because we were rednecks and just shot guns in the woods and nobody really cared.
Right.
But yeah, you brought up background checks and buying it off of people, and it's so weird that I can sell you my gun and it be totally legal, and now you have a gun. And I could have sold it to a felon.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Which that's probably illegal, because I think. What
if you don't know, though?
But I guess that would be illegal on their part, because they're not allowed to have the gun. But I don't think anything would come back on me.
Okay.
You know, because it's legal to
Yeah,
make
it
that
definitely
transaction.
will be bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
But, like, that's my thing. Like, I'm basically liberal for, like, 95% of topics, pretty much leaning that way.
Mm-hmm.
Gun control, I don't really want there to be necessarily any gun control, but I think, you know, like a background check and a 14-day waiting period isn't too much to ask.
No, I
You
don't
know?
either.
Because, like, the argument is like, well, I'm not going to do anything. You know, I've never shot anybody. I have no desire to. And, like, that's cool, and I believe you, and you should have your gun, but you should be able to wait 2 weeks as well.
Exactly.
You know?
I don't think that's too much to ask at all.
Yeah, if you're going on, like, a big hunting trip and you need a certain type of gun, you're probably going to know 2 weeks ahead of time.
Yep.
You know, if not, then you can even at that point, you know, well, I was going to say go to, like, a local, you know, trade show or whatever, but that kind of defeats the purpose. But yeah, like a 14-day background check or something like that, 14-day waiting period and a background check shouldn't be too much to ask. 10 days, something like that. I think everybody should have their guns, but there shouldn't be any issue with that.
Right.
If you are saying that there's no problem. If there's no problem, then there's no problem.
Right.
Wait the 10 days. Like, that's my view on it.
Yeah, with the increase in all the shootings and things over the last several years, I don't think taking away all the guns is the answer. I think we do still should have a right to bear arms, but I really think there's no true need for any sort of machine gun, AK, you know, AR.
Yeah.
Those, I mean, handguns, shotguns. Yeah, those, you know, if you do, you know, you can have a couple clips with you. But I mean, those are not rapid fire, 50 rounds in 30 seconds type. You know, I don't see there's a real need for those. I think your intention is to kill people. Like, it's not necessarily protect. Yeah, you don't need that type of weapon to protect your home. You're not gonna have 50 people trying to rob your house all at the same time.
What if you're Brad Pitt?
Well, that's one hot motherfucker.
What if you're John Wick? John Wick needed that assault rifle.
Yeah.
But then again, John Wick has access to that assault rifle. So yeah, I mean, that's a hard one for me because, like, I don't know. Obviously, military should have them, and you know, whatever. But like, I don't necessarily foresee the need for it either. But an assault rifle is still just like semi-automatic 99% of the time.
True.
You have to pull the trigger each time.
Right.
Right. It's not a fully automatic. And to get a fully automatic like assault rifle, aside from like an Uzi, which isn't an assault rifle, but like an Uzi you could probably find for a couple $100 somewhere, cheap. But like an actual assault rifle fully automatic, that's still going to cost you a couple grand. Most likely, you know, $1,500 plus minimum for a fully automatic. And then I think you do have to have special licenses to own that.
Yeah, they talked about that. It's a Class 3 license, is what it's called. And he said that anybody can get one, but with that right to own that, I'm sure there's more rules. And this guy that taught the class, he was a former police officer and all that, so he knows his stuff. But technically, anybody can get a Class 3, but with that right to carry an automatic weapon, you also give up your right to pretty much any privacy. They're allowed to walk into your house at any point in time and look at anything.
Damn.
Do you want to give up that freedom just to have an automatic weapon?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, most people, I don't think so.
Right.
But they can it can be 4 o'clock in the morning. If they just want to come in and search through whatever you give up that right.
Right. But that is legally too, and like I don't really necessarily like them barging in on people, but like I do think if you are to buy an automatic rifle or something to that extent, then there should be some type of harsh rule similar to that anyway.
Yeah.
Not necessarily barging in on you, but like, you know, something kind of like a psych test every year to renew the license or something like that. You know, something where it's maybe an inconvenience and you might have to keep doing all this paperwork and whatever, but like if you're willing to do that and pass all the exams and whatever, then sure, fine. have it. But I do think there should be, in any gun purchase, there should be some type of waiting period and maybe a background check and kind of stuff like that. I don't think it should be as easy as it is. And I want everybody to have all their guns, but I just think a simple background check is going to save a lot of harsh, realities anyway.
I agree with that mostly. So I just want to tell the listeners a few things about the class that I don't think the general public knows. I definitely didn't know about. The first thing is being, okay, so in a self-defense case, let's say you're in court for self-defense.
Can't shoot him in the back.
Yes.
But, okay, go ahead.
Well, I think that one's pretty well known.
Yeah.
So the guy, our instructor, he said that you will be judged based on what a prudent and responsible person is led to believe. So, and the example that he gave, one of them was that, okay, let's say somebody cut you off in traffic and he ends up dying and you shot him. Okay. So
that's a leap, but
yeah,
okay. I get mad. I do get mad.
Yeah,
so.
I'm saying, but let's just say things escalated.
Yeah.
You say something, he says something bad, next thing you know, right. Next thing you know, the guy ends up dying.
Yo, mama's the size of the moon.
And then and then in court, your defense is, well, he pulled out, I thought he had a weapon. Like from his car, he looks like he was pulling out a weapon. I pulled out my weapon. I had my kids in the back, dude, and I'm not taking the risk. I shot him. He died.
Right.
So maybe that was the case, but they're gonna look at somebody. Okay, and the average citizen, what would they try to do first? Right. Would that be their first response? Is to pull out their gun and shoot? Did you have a chance to get away? Right. Things like that you really have to consider. How
far away were you?
Exactly.
Maybe like
yeah. There's a lot of things you have to take into consideration, which it scared the shit out of me, man, to be honest, because even though I have this gun or, whatever, I'm allowed to carry it around, you can still very well go to jail for murder.
Oh, yeah.
In the self-defense case, something like it's so easy to do. I'm trying to think of a situation where he gave us where
it's kind of hard to react, like out of a reaction, shoot somebody without there being some type of possible backlash. Like the dude would essentially have to like pull the gun out and there have to be witnesses, or like, well, I guess if you pulled it out and you shot him, crime scene, they can probably figure that out. But if like before he pulls it out, it's gonna be hard to kind of not go to jail for that.
At least for a little bit.
Which sucks because you have to like wait that extra couple seconds and hope he misses, he doesn't shoot. It's
right, and this is just to beat stuff clean, like no type of controversy or trials or anything, like clear cut. Okay, he was clearly defending himself in the situation.
So like no trial in that case.
Exactly.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I would think but pretty much regardless, it'd at least go to a trial.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Like I don't even want to deal with that. Like the only reason I really am interested in getting a firearm is because all it takes is one time, man. Yeah, and I watch too much reality documentary TV, crime documentaries, and it's just random people that just living their lives that get pulled up on, houses get invaded. All it takes is that one time. And I definitely want to have it for that one situation, but
it's such a fine line of when to use it and
really
when not to. And you said this is the first time you ever shot anything, right?
Yeah.
So it puts it in a different perspective in my eyes, like, which I've been shooting guns since I was probably 7 or 8, old enough to hold a small one and whatever, but you don't really get the appreciation for the power and the damage behind an actual bullet until you pull a trigger yourself. I can see why people are extremely safe with them, because one trigger, like it's that 45 I had right now would go through this TV, this wall, and probably the next wall from right here. That's how powerful it is, and it was just a pistol. That's what the FBI carried, actually, is the pistol that I had. So, like, it's a powerful, but it's a pistol.
Right.
And, I mean, it's just, you get a new appreciation for what they do, and you're even more cautious now that you can feel kind of the power behind them.
Right.
I'm curious if, like, that is the same for what you felt after you first shot one.
Yeah. Like, it gave me a feeling of uneasiness. It was cool, but not at the same time.
But shit got real.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever felt that exact feeling that I had yesterday when I was shooting these weapons. It's like, yeah, this is cool, target practice and all that,
Like, it's fun, but
yeah.
at the same time,
once
like,
you
realize what you're holding.
You can end a life just like in a snap of a finger with, when I was shooting at 45, 9/11, felt good in my hands. And I actually think I would love target shooting.
Right.
It'd be fun to do. But to realize, like, dang, dude, I could just end somebody's life, like, literally in like a half a second with that. It's scary, man. It really is.
This would be, like, kind of a dark thing to think about, but I'm sure this goes through people's mind, like, it's going to sound dark, but kind of in, like, a healthy way.
Yeah.
Like, they kind of realize that it's in their hand, and they can, like, just turn and end a life right now, like, in 3 seconds if they felt like it, which they don't, know, but it's just a thought that occurs, and it's just crazy, once again, the power that's in your hand.
Yeah, and even with the 15, 20 people I was in the room with, there's all these firearms everywhere. There's all these people. Like, who's to say one of these people couldn't just turn around right now? Pop, 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 pop.
Right.
And we're all in a confined area. Like, there was nothing we were going to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just the fact that somebody could even do that. The option was there. That scared the shit out of me.
And then there's, all those untrained people. If somebody starts popping off, is somebody going to grab a gun, try to shoot them, miss, hit somebody else? Like, now they're going to jail too because they were trying to do the right thing. And, like, it's just, I like I said, I'm pro gun, but I'm also pro safety by a lot. And that's not even really a reason I got rid of it, but, like, I don't. So
you don't have one at all?
No, not anymore.
You had and you got rid of it. Okay.
Yeah, I just don't have a need for it.
Okay.
Because
I'm glad you feel that way, man. I used to.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I think over time I've just maybe convinced myself that I'd rather have it and not need it than vice versa.
I've learned in the last 10 years pretty hard that you put yourself in certain situations and you can avoid most of them. Now, obviously, there's the outlier and stuff and things that you're not always going to be able to account for, but I've just, I've been in enough bad positions and kind of things like that I'm aware of when I'm in one and I make sure to get out of it, as well as having, like, my daughter. That's another reason I wanted to get rid of it. Mm-hmm. I have a pit bull that, as you know, doesn't like anybody. Nope. So if anybody tries to walk in the house, I mean, you're literally my dog's best friend, and he still wants to eat you until he realizes it's you.
Right.
So I don't need it for home defense or anything like that. He's going to do plenty. I was like, I need to get rid of it. But I'm very pro-gun. So I'm on both sides of the fence. I just like to think logically as much as possible about it.
I understand that. A few other things that I think people should know about. He talked about a thing about, he said care, custody, and control is possession. So the scenario he gave us is that he took his own personal firearm and sat it on the floor and moved away from it, sitting on the floor. And he said if the police walked in the room right at that moment, who's in possession of that gun? Is it me because it's mine? Is it him? Is it her? Who? So the answer is whoever is closest to that gun is in possession of that gun.
That's the other shitty thing, because you don't have to register your gun in Ohio. In other states, you do.
All right, I didn't know.
So that's why, like, that's like why, like, rappers get busted with an unregistered weapon.
Okay.
In Ohio, there's none of that, but they're in New York usually, and that's where you have to register everything.
Okay.
Because this was back when I was thinking about moving to New York, and I had the pistol, and somebody was like, "You better file for that registration like 6 months before before you go to make sure you have it.
Yeah.
Because if you're in state lines, that's instant 5 years,
Oh my
without
gosh.
that registration. But in Ohio, you don't need that. So in New York, who's in possession is, we'll run this fucking number, and it's Steve's gun.
So it's yours no matter where it's at or where you're at.
You can, I don't know their, selling laws or anything, but, you could probably sell it to a gun shop and transfer ownership type thing, kind of like a car, or registration. But, yeah, in Ohio, there's no registration. So, yeah, whoever's closest, that's their gun now. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part.
He said, so the guy that was actually closest to the gun after he had stepped away, he looked at him and said, if you had a felony and the cops walked in here right now and you're the closest to that gun,
you're going to
they're
jail.
going to try to, with a good lawyer, you'd probably be able to get off of it. Let's just,
right.
realistically. But
according to the law,
in that moment, if the cops wanted to arrest you, you're in possession of that gun.
Wow.
Yeah. Another thing, he said that whether you have your carry concealed license or not, let's say you're in a car with your friend and he has felonies, but you own a gun in the center console. If he has access to that weapon at any point, if it's not locked up or in the trunk to where he can't immediately grab it right then and there, he's in possession of that firearm as well as you are.
Right. It makes sense because I know, even for just your regular person, the general rule is you have to keep the gun not within arm's reach and the bullets in a separate area of the vehicle.
Yeah, and
so
that's the laws for if you don't have a CCW.
Right,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so you're talking if you had a CCW.
Yeah, even if.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's your
though.
responsibility to keep that firearm in your possession and solely your possession.
Right. That makes sense though.
Yeah. Yeah. So which I didn't know that. I wanted to share that. And he also talked about a thing called disparity of force, which is could help you in self-defense cases in the instance of, let's say, your mom, tiny, small, petite woman.
Yep.
And let's
shout
say,
out, Mom. Love you.
I haven't seen you in a while. I gotta check in with you. But
love you, Mom.
and you know me, fucking 230 pounds. If I came at her, let's say, just bare hands,
right,
and she shot me, she'd probably get away with that.
Right, because there's no way she can match you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, let's say vice versa, though. Let's say she had a knife, and all I had was my hands, and I shot her. Chances are I would get away with that.
Right.
They definitely try to fight. The prosecution probably definitely try to argue that,
Plus, you black.
Yeah. Let's be real.
That's honest.
Yeah. But in that situation, so you really got to be careful. Like these bang situations,
right?
You got to really be able to think quickly and figure out the right move. Because honestly, if I got a gun on me and if I think I'm about to get stabbed, I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry. And
yeah,
that sucks though. But let's say,
but if it's a small dude and he has a knife, I think that'd be okay. But the fact that it's a small woman, you should be expected, especially at your size, to overpower her
exactly,
and get away. But if it's a smaller guy, but he has a knife, I think you could get away with it if it comes down to it.
Right. Like I said, he kept saying what a prudent and reasonable person would believe.
Right.
So in that situation with your mom, if she had a knife, I mean,
they would say you had other options.
Exactly. Yeah. I could have ran away. I probably could have. I mean, I might have took a cut or two,
knock her out,
something. Yeah, you know what I mean. So you really got to be careful. I mean, some of these situations I could see myself easily fucking up,
right?
Easily, and that's why I'm half nervous about carrying a weapon around,
right.
Because dude, I'm telling you, I'm not gonna hesitate. If I really think my life's in danger.
Yeah.
Whether, you know what I mean, I got it on me. Why use any other option? I could honestly see myself, and that's something I gotta, make sure that I'm ready to deal with in that instance because, I could see myself looking for the fastest way to solve it rather than the best way per se.
Right.
You know what I mean?
See, for me, I guess the cost of that doesn't outweigh the probability, I guess, in my eyes. Like, I would rather like, obviously I don't want to get shot, but like, I would rather get mugged or something like that and hopefully live, you know?
Yeah.
I would rather live with that probability of 1 in 10 million or whatever.
Yeah.
We're probably going to get hit with a stat like, no, it's 1 in 30,000, like some whatever. But, but like, I'd rather live with that probability than kind of put myself in the position of potentially fucking up somewhat frequently.
Right.
Because that's going to cross your mind.
Right.
I mean, you know, once again, I'm for guns.
Yeah.
So, like, the sane person, it might cross your mind, but, you know, you're going to make the intelligent decision and leave that in the car or on your hip or whatever.
Mm-hmm. But
the amount of times, I guess it kind of comes back to putting myself in that position. Like I was talking about earlier, I've been in enough situations where I don't even want to be around certain stuff.
Yeah.
And not that guns are that, but like, I don't want to put myself in a position of potentially fucking up, you know, even once a year. If you do it once a year, that's potentially 50 more chances in your lifetime that you could potentially shoot somebody or something, and you're not going to have, you know, maybe 5 chances of potentially getting mugged.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Especially where we live, like, you know, kind of the hood, whatever, but it's not a big city. It's not Chicago. It's not, you know, inner city Cleveland or, you know, Miami or anything like that. It's, you know, I think where we're at, and I think we're smart enough to avoid those situations. And I don't want to put myself in a situation where I could jeopardize what I've worked for and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's just me. Like, I have nothing against it. One of my best friends has their concealed carry, now that I think about it. And, you know, she's a female, and I trust her with it, and she's, you know, great, and I have no worries. You know, I'd go anywhere with her with it.
Mm-hmm.
But for me personally, I don't want to put myself in the position of fucking up more than I need to, I guess. Because I've already done my good share of fucking up. So
I definitely agree with you, that mindset. And like I said, I've been on the fence about it for a long time. I'm 31, man. So,
yeah,
you know, I've had plenty of time to go get a gun. I haven't to this point. But I don't know, man. I guess the older I get, the more I realize that it could just take one time. And, you know, and I'd hate to be in a situation where I could have protected my kids or somebody that I care about, or, you know, it could be just some innocent person. You can step in and help in it. And like I said, there's a lot of rules that pertain to that type of shit. If you get involved in something like that, you have to know certain facts,
right,
in order to not get in trouble. But it's possible that you can help somebody else, you know. So, you know, like I said, I hope I own it whenever I do get one, and I never fucking use it outside of just target practice at the range.
So let me ask you something though, because you bring up a interesting point that I just thought of, like potentially helping somebody else, right?
Yeah.
So for you, do you think it would be easier to intervene? Like, say my mom's getting mugged, right?
Yep.
Or, well, we'll just say a stranger. You know, just a stranger. You don't know them. You don't know anything like that. They're getting mugged. Would it be easier for you to kind of jump into the position and physically break it up? You don't see any weapons or anything like that. Physically break it up.
That's a key. Yeah.
Or is it going to be easier for you to pull your weapon with no intention of shooting, but just to kind of scare the guy off? What do you think is going to be easier for you to do?
Probably jump in.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
Because I bet a lot of people would say, well, I'd rather go with the scare tactic, right? I'm not going to shoot him, but he doesn't know that, right? But that's where accidents happen.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't want to put myself in a position where I could, like you kind of said, take the quick way out instead of the intelligent way out.
Right.
So that's a good answer. That wasn't a test. I was curious, but I bet a lot of people would go for their gun first.
Just thinking about if I had a gun on me right now, I don't want to draw attention to myself. I am
Right.
not an attention whore. Like, and
Right.
if I can wear a fucking invisibility cloak around, I probably would.
But you're gonna get a lot of attention.
Yeah, if they know I have it. So that's the last thing I want to do is bring attention to myself. I'm not going to reveal that I have a gun unless I need this person to know that.
So are you wearing jackets all the time? Because a t-shirt's not gonna cover it that well.
Do you be surprised?
If you got a big enough t-shirt, but
Dude, there's some dudes that was at the range that were packing that you couldn't see it, and these are average size dudes. I was surprised. You'd be surprised, man.
Okay.
I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah. And these guys, they weren't big. I mean, they were thin guys, but they weren't like, you know. And yeah, the only reason, I mean, he lifted up his shirt and shot a couple rounds himself out. Had no idea he had his own firearm on him. It's not as hard as you think.
Okay.
It's really not.
Okay.
So one thing I want to talk about is what he called the 3 points of self-defense. So this is for anybody who's in a situation where you might have to defend yourself using a firearm or some sort of weapon. The 3 things you have to remember in order to get out with no jail time at the end of the day is, 1, you must not have created the situation, which I have never heard anybody say. You cannot have created the situation that ended up with somebody getting shot. A good example,
especially when you do the shooting.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
An example that the instructor gave was that, let's say you're driving down the road and you see 2 people tussling on the side of the road. They're on the ground, rolling around and shit, and they're obviously fighting. And you see one guy take out a knife. He's on top of the other dude and getting ready to stab him. And you pull out your gun and you fire into that person. If the person that you shot, let me get it right, if they did not start the altercation, you're going to, that's murder.
So
you have to know.
I guess in that case, would they view that as self-defense for that person? They say, well, he was acting in self-defense, he didn't start it, and then now you came along and shot him.
So you're asking if
so you shot that guy with the knife, right?
Okay.
But he didn't start the argument, right?
Right.
So was he acting in self-defense at that point? Because now maybe this other guy's trying to do something and he's trying to defend himself, and then you came along and shot that guy that was trying to defend himself. That's probably why you would be going to jail, because he didn't start the argument, he didn't ask for the conflict, and he's the one that ended up getting shot.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah. The key is to know. You have to know, but in that situation, there's no way you'll be able to know. Right. You're not going to ask, like, hey, who started this?
Right.
And then you shoot the right guy. You know what I mean? But so you cannot have started the situation. Let's say in this scenario I gave you earlier where somebody cuts you off and you flick them off, honk your horn and shit. They look back. Well, what you want to do? What you want to do?
Right.
You know what I mean? And let's say you ended up shooting that guy. You're going to jail because you started the altercation.
Yeah.
It's not illegal for him to pull in front of you.
Right. You just don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not acting in self-defense because you started the altercation, the whole fight, which is crazy. Like, you know what I mean?
That's not a good enough reason to shoot anybody either.
But no, okay, I left out a key. Let's say he pulled out a gun though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if he pulls out a gun and you shoot him, yeah, you're going to jail still.
Well, I don't know, because then at that point you're acting in self-defense. I don't know.
But yeah, you started.
That's where it gets tricky, though.
Yeah, you started it.
Damn.
So I mean, from what he was talking, you know, he pulled out that. They're going to see it as he pulled out that gun because you threatened him first.
Huh.
And then you end up shooting him, and yeah, now you're going to jail.
Damn.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, I get it though.
Yeah, and then one more thing that I did not know is that deadly force is not allowed when it comes to protecting your personal property.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that a state thing?
I don't know.
I feel like that's different per state, but I thought it was.
Even in Ohio, though, like, it's okay. So if somebody came to my door, or if they broke in, and I woke up and I seen them taking my fucking TV out the door,
Well,
whether
yeah,
they facing me or not.
yeah, if they don't have a weapon, yeah, you can't
Yeah,
shoot
if
them.
they're not trying to hurt you directly, you're forced to call the police.
Right. And I think in that case you can try to like fight them and get it away.
Right,
and
you
stuff.
can use your hands.
Right,
You can,
but yeah, you
cannot-
can't use a weapon if they're not using a weapon.
Do you, that's another thing I'm struggle with, man.
Huh.
I'm telling you, because you're in my house at this point.
Fire a warning shot. They'll drop it and run.
That's probably the best thing you could probably do in
But
that situation.
you live in apartments.
Oh,
Where are you going to
yeah.
fire it? Which
Yeah.
way?
Probably out that way.
What's past the parking lot? Is there anything back
There's
there?
the freeway there, 13. It's better
Okay.
than shooting it this way. 'Cause there's
Either
people
way.
This way, yeah. So out that way, I mean, at least it's going through.
But are
a
you going to
wall.
think of that in the spur of the moment?
No, I'm probably. See,
Well,
that's something that I got to be ready for, man.
But it
because-
said it was deadly force, right?
right.
Shoot him in the leg. I don't think it. I don't know, but
Yeah.
speculating, I don't think that would be considered deadly force because you're not trying to. You're just trying to immobilize them.
Right.
Now, if they bleed out, I don't know.
I bet you still come out with a lesser charge.
Yeah.
You
But
probably
yeah.
do some sort of time.
I'm
for
surprised.
that.
Well, I mean, like I said, I don't know. I've never taken the class or whatever. I'm surprised they didn't mention things like that, like warning shots, aim for.
Man, see,
I mean, but they're probably telling you to aim for the chest, right? Because that's where the cops shoot.
yeah, we didn't talk about where to shoot people at. None of that.
Well, yeah. Now that you phrase it like that, that's
Yeah.
probably
Yeah,
not a topic of discussion.
yeah. I mean, I think people, when it comes to if you want to stop somebody, you kind of know where to go, and versus trying to immobilize.
Right.
But that's something that I have to be prepared for, because my first thought is, oh, he's seen me now. He knows that I'm going to call the police on him now. He's going to try to immobilize me. I'm not giving him the option. Bang.
Right.
And next thing you know, well, he wasn't attacking you.
Right.
Yes, he did have your stuff. Yes, he was in your house.
He had a black hoodie on.
Yeah.
Like-
he was clearly robbing you.
Right.
But at the point that you shot him, you can't prove that he was going to harm you.
Right.
So you're going to jail for murder.
I mean,
probably in the second degree or some shit like that. But
I understand
still.
that one though, like because I mean it's hard to do, but you got to give up your material possessions, like which nobody wants to do, right? But that's happened to me before. My
Yeah.
whole house was robbed and all this kind of stuff. I knew who did it. Couldn't go to the police for reasons, but I never once thought about going to shoot him.
Oh no, not after the fact.
I
I'm talking about
was-
if he's in my house.
Well,
though.
right.
Yeah.
Right. I guess that's true.
In that
but-
situation, oh yeah. If he's out the door and I see him running down the street with my TV, I'm not going to, hey, bow, 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 bow.
Right.
But in the house, in that moment, if I see you, dude, that's something I got to be ready for.
Right.
Because I'm not going to think much.
Right.
I just hope to God that in that moment I'm able to, or he just immediately starts to run out the door.
See, that's why, like, I don't know. I'm for guns and I'm for people having guns. I just am at a point in my life that I don't personally see the need for it for myself.
Yeah. And I could definitely see where you're going with that. I mean, it seems like, generally speaking, people who feel they need to protect themselves have certain lifestyles in which they
To some extent,
probably,
yeah.
are dabbling in some stuff they probably shouldn't be, and
Right.
other shady individuals or whatnot,
Right.
But I think, generally speaking, and I would love to. I don't know. Like I said, it's just
I think this would have been a good topic to talk to Tommy about.
yeah.
I don't think he has a CCW, but I mean, we grew up in the same town and stuff, and I know he likes to shoot guns, so I would have liked to get his opinion on it, but
He can definitely give us ours.
Right.
Leave us a voice memo or something.
right,
We'll
yeah.
play it on the next episode.
Yeah, guys, I mean, that's a good point. Leave your, thoughts on this topic as a voice message on our Anchor site, and try to keep them to 30 seconds, 45 seconds, something like that. But we'd love to hear you guys. Call us dumbasses or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever you want, whatever your views are on that topic. I think it'd be cool to get some different perspective.
Yeah, but that's what I want to talk about as far as CCW. Like I said, interesting, learned a lot. Hopefully I was able to share some knowledge with you guys as far as the laws, because, they're not very clear in some instances. A lot of times it could be a bang-bang situation. Next thing you know, you're getting a lot of time because you just thought you were doing the right thing, acting in self-defense, and come to find out you really weren't, and there were other options. So
it's definitely interesting, and like I said, I grew up around guns, but a lot of that I didn't know.
Yeah,
I've shot. I would guess at least 1,000 shots in my life just over time. I didn't know half of that, so definitely good for people to know that, at least to some extent. But we do want to kind of end the show here with a lighter topic to kind of have some fun and kind of see where our mind's at, and that's a bucket list. Everybody has a bucket list, whether you write it down or not. Everybody has some things that they want to do before they die, some goals or things like that. So I'll let you start with this, but what are some things on your bucket list that you want to make sure to do?
Most of the things on my list are places I want to go.
Same, actually.
There ain't too many things. I think when I was younger, this is a revised one.
Okay.
I haven't really sat and really thought about what I really want to do. Probably in a good, I'm not going to say what I want to do. Like, things I want to do before I die.
Right.
I gave it serious thought in probably a good 5 years. So, what I got here is places I really want to go, events I want to go to. Okay. So we'll get right into that. Vegas is on my list. Have you been to Vegas?
No.
Okay.
I've been to Utah, which was pretty cool, but we were on a houseboat, so way different.
I feel like Vegas I feel like everybody should go and at least see the lights.
Yeah.
If you don't, I'm not a gambling guy. That's the biggest reason I think I haven't gone yet.
Yeah.
I don't gamble. I probably won't when I'm there, to be honest. Even the penny slots, I get mad when I lose $1 at the damn lotto at the gas station. So,
see, I like gambling, but I'm just not a Vegas person.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool, but me, I'd rather, I don't mind going out and drinking and stuff, but I don't want to go out to the club. You know, I want to go out to the bar and have a drink, and we'll have a good time. We'll maybe go to a couple other bars or whatever, but I don't want to go to the club. I don't want to go to the strip club.
Gotcha.
I've
been to one strip club, and it's not my cup of tea really either.
I've never been.
Okay.
I don't have a desire to go.
Yeah, I really didn't either, but somebody was like, I'm taking you there. So I was like, all right. I was already drunk, and they were driving. I was like, okay, we're going.
Yeah.
Mainly for me, though, I definitely want to see the lights. They look beautiful on TV. I just want to see them in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. And just to feel the vibe there. I could definitely, they say you can smoke all you want. You can drink all you want.
Yeah.
So just to be able to walk down the street, drinking my whatever I'm sipping on, my Long Island.
Yep.
And just kind of being outside and just doing me, being me.
See, I'd rather do that
amazing.
In New Orleans, though. New Orleans isn't on my bucket list, but same type of vibe. But I'd more be with the fun and just easygoing people of New Orleans rather than the party and prostitution's legal in Vegas and all the drugs. And I'm sure there's that in New Orleans too, but it's just a completely different vibe.
I think that's one place that I'll be upset if I die and didn't visit yet. So that's definitely on my list. Did you want to trade or did you want to just?
Well, I'll just add on to that. Mine are traveling too for the most part, aside from one or two of them, but mainly traveling.
Okay.
But mine are all outside of the United States.
Okay.
So my big thing is Norway. I've always wanted to go to Norway or Sweden. They're essentially the same country. Not really, but the reason I want to go is for the scenery. So, I'm a big fat guy, so it's going to be hard to hike the mountains, but I'm going to force myself to do it. And I'm not a real big fan of heights either, but I love scenery. I love seeing views and on mountaintops and one of my favorite places ever is sitting on roofs, whether it be a house or a building or whatever. I just love being up there. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to go to the edge. I'm going to keep myself 6 feet from the edge to make sure I don't fall off. Yeah. But I want the view, right? and Norway and Sweden with those mountains and
I'm sure,
just
man.
beautiful like pastures and all that
Right.
kind of stuff.
Right.
That's definitely my number one thing is going to Norway, and it's not that expensive. If you book it like 6 months out, a round trip ticket's like $900, which isn't
what?
bad.
No.
And you can stay in like basically bed and breakfasts, and stuff like that. Airbnb, I think they have over there for
$900
relatively
round trip.
cheap. Yeah, so you can get away with easily $2,000 to go to Norway for a week and back.
What?
Easy, and like it's realistic, and I'm gonna do it one day, but I don't know when.
All right, man.
Other traveling ones, at least for me, there's one other traveling one aside from this, but we'll get to that after these. But really just the 7 wonders of the world.
Okay.
I wanted to go see, not necessarily all of them, like it'd be cool to, but just go to Peru and see Machu Picchu, go to the Great Wall of China, go to Egypt and see, the pyramids and all that kind of stuff.
Oh my God, that would be a hell of an experience.
Right. I just want to go see all the shit that can't be explained, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that would be super
Grand Canyon's
dope.
on my list. Is that one of them?
I don't remember. I don't think so, because that one's just made by water.
Yeah.
It's not really like a wonder.
Oh, right. Right.
Do you remember the Christ the Redeemer is what it's called in Brazil?
Yeah, Rio.
Yeah, Rio. Yeah. Oh man, I would love to at least go look at it. I don't think you can get up there or anything, but
just looking at it, I've looked on Google Earth.
You can see it.
The 3D. I did the 3D rendering of it, you know, and just from looking at it on that, it looks phenomenal.
Yeah, I would love to see
it gave
just
me
all
chills
that
just
kind of
looking
stuff.
at it on there. Yeah. So places. Then we'll get those out the way. I do want to see Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
My roommate said she passed it, but she just wanted to get where she was going so bad that I was like, dude, there's no way if I'm gonna pass it, I'm gonna have to stop and look at it. That's something that I've always wanted to look at, and I don't really know how realistically close you can get to it.
Right.
But to be able to see that, I think that's something amazing that, is carved in the side of a rock, these people's faces. And it's recognizable. Like, you just no guessing. Like, oh, who is that? Oh, that's clearly.
That's true.
Yeah,
the
know
detail
what I mean?
that they needed.
It's amazing. Yes.
Because imagine if you, fuck that up.
You ain't fixing it.
Right.
You have to go somewhere else.
You have to drill farther into the rock and redo everybody's face because you cut off his nose. That's pressure, dude.
Yes, man. And then I do have going to a foreign country. You got specific places.
Okay. Yeah.
I was scared of international travel really all the way up till about 25. I was terrified of it. I was like, you know what? I'm fine if I never get to see anything outside of the U.S.
My thing is I want to fucking go. That's my thing. I just want to travel. I want to see everything.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is just me watching these damn documentaries and being scared of all these diseases and shit that aren't really prevalent in the States and these animals, poisonous shit.
Probably.
It's like, I could bring something back, and
just don't go to Australia. You'll be fine.
Or parts of Africa. Parts of Africa are fucking.
That's kind of a given,
man. But so other things out that are not travel related per se. I definitely want to make it to a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Okay.
I do not care where I sit at it. I can be all the way up to where I can barely see the. I know somebody that went to one of them, and he said just the buzz from being inside the building.
I can imagine.
He said you don't even have to be watching the game, really. Like, of course, you're going to be you're there for that. But he was like, you can just talk to the people around you and make it have your own little party, right there with these strangers from all over wherever the world.
Yep.
You all tipsy on beer. You got your team you're rooting for. You got the other team. Like, oh, fuck you guys. But, shit doesn't get out of hand.
Right.
And they said just the buzz, it's just a hell of an experience to be there.
And it's just not going to get out of hand. People paid thousands of dollars for those tickets probably.
Right.
That'd be dope. But so one of mine is similar, but it's a Red Sox Yankees game at Fenway. And I'd prefer it to be in the playoffs. That'd be cool. Yeah. It'll never be a World Series, obviously, because of how divisions work and stuff. But Yeah, a Red Sox-Yankees game at Fenway.
Man.
I've been to Fenway, and it was great. And I always say it's like the second best day of my life. It was the first best day of my life for a long time, and then my daughter was born.
Okay.
But basically, it's like the second best day of my life. It was
Nice.
so awesome. We went with my mom planned it all out. I was like 16 or 17, and they planned it all out, and we got there, and it was the 500th consecutive sellout.
Oh, nice.
So everybody got like commemorative baseballs and like little postcards and kind of stuff like that. But
Okay.
it was awesome, man. We had seats right down like the third base line.
Okay.
It was awesome. But yeah, if I could do that, but with us playing the Yankees, that would be bucket list. Red
Hell
Sox
yeah.
are my team, my favorite team out of any sport. You know, if the Bengals are on, which they fucking 0-5 this year, fuck them. But
yeah, they're having the struggles.
if they're on and the Red Sox are on, I'm watching the Red Sox. So
Okay.
they're, you know, everybody in my house knows that Red Sox trump everything. If the Red Sox are on, we're watching the Red Sox. Sorry. Not always, but that's the general rule. But that, and then like skydive. I'd love to skydive, but once again, I hate heights, but I love scenery. So I think skydiving would be super dope. But I always say I'd get up there in the
Fucking
plane.
Terrified, man.
Yeah, I always say I'd get up there in the plane, but I wouldn't jump. I
Oh,
wouldn't
man.
jump, but you have to be tandem your first time, so I'd be forced to jump.
Oh, okay.
Because you have to have an instructor like strapped to you.
Yeah.
At least the first time. I don't know if it's the first couple, but so I'd be forced to jump. And I want to go, but I don't, but I do, but I don't, but I do.
Man.
My
yeah.
brother went and he said it's amazing. I think he went a couple times after that just because of how fun it was. But
Yeah, my roommate went too, and she said it was one of the coolest things she's by far ever done.
that'd be awesome.
And she said, I don't know if she went with her grandma, and
I think you told me that.
yeah, and she threw up. Her grandma threw up and everything, but still enjoyed it for the most part. She
Like on the way down.
No, when she hit the ground.
Oh,
When she
okay.
finally
Well,
landed.
yeah, that's...
yeah. But she said overall she wasn't, mad or
right.
regretted it or anything. But I think they either pushed her or her grandmother on two. So they're like, all right, we're gonna go on the count of three.
Oh,
1,
shit.
2. Ooh.
You kind of have to do that, but,
Yeah.
but also fuck you.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. I'm screaming at you for a while in the air.
For the
you
first
fucking piece of shit.
for the
Fuck
first
you.
30 seconds at
Right.
least.
Right. But she said, once you come like on the way down, it's just kind of like you get like, oh shit, like look at that, and it's just like, oh shit, like you don't even feel like, yeah, you're falling fast as fuck, but it doesn't feel like
Eventually, yeah, you don't feel it. It just
Yeah.
feels like
yeah,
you're there.
right,
I guess.
yeah,
That'd be cool.
man, it sounds like it, but damn.
You got any other ones? I got one more.
Woo, yeah, okay, so one actual achievement that's not travel related or going to an event. I do want to eventually own or be a part of owner of a business of some sort.
Okay. Yeah.
That's really something I think I can take pride in and be.
The podcast is a business.
Yeah,
It can get there. We'll see.
Yeah. Once
We'll
we
see.
start talking revenue, then I'll consider it a business. But for me right now, it's a hobby for sure.
Right.
But
It's going to be a hobby for a long time before we're a business.
Yeah. I think, and like I said, it doesn't have something I solely own. It could be a joint thing where we got a few of us and we all. But I want to take something from like the ground up,
Right.
And be able to say, hey, yeah, I'm not a fan of corporate America anyway. I wouldn't expect it to get too big, but if we could just, start something in a city somewhere and make it last 10, 15, 20 years, I'd be fine with that.
Right.
I really would.
That'd be awesome. Because you went to school for that too, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So my last thing, this sounds crazy, but it's actually pretty much achievable. Maybe not right now, but really soon. So, do you know what the Kármán line is? So the Kármán line is basically from the Earth 62 miles up towards space. So what that is that's basically the boundary between the upper atmosphere and the outer and outer space.
Oh my.
So
62 miles?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that'll get you basically to the very edge of our atmosphere / space.
Okay.
Like that's essentially like the quote unquote re-entry point kind of
Gotcha.
thing.
Okay.
You can do that, or you will be able to soon, for $250,000.
What?
So I've always wanted to go to space.
Yeah.
I've always wanted
that before.
I've always wanted to.
Mhm.
Now, in this instance, I don't know. I mean, the trip wouldn't be long, I wouldn't assume,
Yeah.
but $250,000 obviously is a fuck ton of money, and I will probably never have that much money to just kind of throw at something. But if we start a business, right?
Yeah.
If the podcast gets Joe Rogan level, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But $250,000, and you can go up in a spaceship to the Kármán line and kind of be on the verge of outer space.
Oh
and
my
that would give
gosh.
you enough to where you can see the curvature of the
Right.
Earth and like
Oh my God.
see enough
bro.
out into space. I'm sure you could see the moon from there depending on the position, but you know,
I would be in awe and completely terrified at the
right.
same exact
Oh,
time.
absolutely.
At the same exact time.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, me and you have talked about aliens and stuff before
Yeah.
and all that. And I think, you know, like that's one thing that I wouldn't ever pass up is like a chance to go into outer space. Obviously, I don't think I would do it if it meant like the rest of my life or if it was like a suicide trip or anything like that. But if you could go into space and come back in a relatively reasonable amount of time, I would have to do it. I would have to.
Yeah, I think 250 would be worth that one time.
I
to be
would
able to
have
save that.
shit down my whole body the whole time.
Even up my back.
Yep, because there's no gravity, so everywhere, and I would have the biggest smile on my face. So I would be so scared and so happy, and that would be amazing. Is to go into space. Well, cool, man. That was episode 10.
Then in.
Yeah. Can't believe it's been 10 episodes already. That's insane.
Yep. Thank you guys for all listening. Keep checking us out. Like I said, if you ain't following us yet, what the fuck you doing?
Right.
Just ask yourself that.
Right. I try to post something every day, something at least funny. I've actually started to realize how to post GIFs and make my own memes and stuff, and it's been really fun.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to like over post those, but watch out for those. But yeah, follow us everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, Stitcher, any platform you can think of, we're pretty much on it. But yeah, at Average AF Podcast everywhere, Gmail as well, and then Twitter is at Average AF Pod. Look out for us at the Alpha and Omega Community Day. Once again, October 18th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. You'll have a chance to record into the microphone and get on the podcast with a shout out. Really, whatever you want to say, we'll probably end up putting it on the next episode. But yeah, we appreciate you guys for listening, and have a good night.
And we out.
Yeah.